Welcome to Conan Exiles on PlayStation 5. This is my beginner's guide series, starting with episode 1 coming up right now, so let's jump into it. Okay, so here we are in the main menu. So once you load up your game, this is the first screen that you'll be greeted with. At this point you've got a choice. You can either play online or you can do single player co-op. A lot of people like to play single player. Won't talk too much about the difference of either of these in this video because this is an introduction video, as we say. Maybe go into it a little bit more next time, but what I will do for the gameplay coming up shortly, we'll be doing that on single player and also using a cheat called the admin panel, just for the purposes of the video really. I'll explain briefly what that is, and if you have to use it or you don't have to use it, it's entirely up to you. I'll explain that once we get into the gameplay. But yeah, if you choose online, for example, this is what you'll be greeted with then. You can either do PvP, so if you like, player versus player, you select the first option. PvE conflict is basically, it's players versus the environment, but you can still kill other players and other players can still kill you. Well, PvE is pretty much self-explanatory, like it says. It's players versus environment or enemies, meaning that even if you see another player with their thrall, or if you've got a thrall with you, which again I'll explain what those are if you're new to the game, it just means you can actually work together if you want to team up. You can't kill other players, you won't be attacked by other players' thralls, your thralls won't attack other players or other thralls, because it's you against the wildlife and the NPCs in the game. So that's if you want to play online. So let's say you were playing online, you want PvP. You'd then be greeted with this menu, which will bring up a huge list of servers, which are either community owned or private servers, or certain ones when it decides to stop loading them all in. Hopefully there won't be as many of this soon, but if you look for one called official server, I won't guarantee a number at the moment because obviously these are being changed with them, but like this one here for example, official server 3004 PvE gpol.com, that is an official Conan Exiles server, and that's on the Exile lands. So if you're going to be on the Exile lands, you'd select that, or you'd look for one that says Isle of Sipta if you have the Isle of Sipta DLC and you're playing on there. Okay, so we've chosen our server. This is the next screen we've now got. Choose male or female. So I like to go female, so select female, as you can see in the background here. On the left it gives you all sorts of different menus, so what race you want them to be, what religion, what the voice sounds like. I don't know why, because you don't really hear the voice in the game, but it shows you anyway. Then you've got head options, so you choose all the different hairstyles, as you'll see shortly coming up in the background. You've got different hairstyles to choose from, skin colour. Then you go further down and you've got more facial and skin details, so like your lips, your nose, your eyes, eyebrows, all those different sorts of features. As you can see, I was doing here in the background, just experimenting and look at different stuff. You just keep working your way down the menu, it's pretty self-explanatory really. You get lower down and you've also then got settings for how tall you want them to be, and other different character settings, and also at the very bottom option, just for those who don't know, yes, you can actually choose whether to have zero nudity, partial or full, so depending on your playstyle and how you like to play, depends which you choose. And it just means if you choose full, for example, you'll see everything on your character plus other people's characters or any NPCs that you see in the world who don't have any clothing on either. But yeah, and it works the same with male or female. You select that, as you can see at the very bottom. Then once you've decided, you click the finalise character at the very bottom, and what it will do is it will put, well, you can see the white box on your character there at the moment. Now that we see, you select the option and you can give them a name, or you could, I didn't know obviously just for the purpose of this video, but you give them a name and then you'll load in and you'll get your load screen. So it will load up the game, and then what will happen is you'll spawn in where we will be in just a second, and we'll carry on. Okay, So here we are, we've loaded in, we've created our character and we've just loaded in. Give you a quick look around as you can see where I am. If you use your touchpad, so the big button in the middle of your controller, and then go with L2, this will bring up your map. And as you can see, at the moment we are here, just sort of next to H. Now this area, which it'll discover as we run through it, you'll see is called the Broken Highway, I think it's called. What you want to do is make your way down this path, which we'll do shortly. We're going to head along here, down to these little trees, and we're going to head to the river, which for seasoned players or players of the play I'll tell like myself, this river all around all this area is what's known as Noob River, meaning because this is where all the new players hang about and where they level up first. But yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to head down here, and then just on these two little island pieces here, so this one on this side of the river and here, there are two big statues called the Sentinels, which you will discover on your map, and there's also an NPC under this one on this side that you can talk to, which is one of your journey steps. Now journey steps in the game are little feats, if you will, or like little objectives like a lot of other games give you. A lot of them are dead easy. We'll even be doing a couple now as we start, so you talk to that guy, that will give you a journey step as well. So we're going to set off from here and we're going to head there and go up to the Sentinels here. If you don't spawn at this side, the other area you could spawn is just about over here, I think it is, which is called the Shattered Bridge. So again, your aim would be to make your way down here and get up to this river. I would advise, if you do happen to check your map and you spawned over here, try and get yourself across on the map, just run across the desert to here where I am and go up this way and make your way to the river this way, only because there's a couple more sort of crocodiles around here and shaleback, which are like, they look like big turtles basically, but they're all like aggressive ones that will attack you. This end of this river here you definitely want to keep away from at first, because there are a lot of campfires around there with a lot of thrall NPCs that will attack you, and to be honest, if you're low level starting out with no weapons, it's no good even punching them, because they will do as archers and fires and they will gang up on you, they will mess up your start, let's say. So yeah, so we're going to start from here, as I say, go up along here and we're going to make our way onto the river there. Just before we do, for the purpose of this I am using something called the admin panel, which in single player you can use or you don't have to use. Some people say it's a cheat, which it kind of is cheating, but some people say if you're new to the game and you don't want to get killed straight away, but you just want to wander about, learn areas, learn bits of the map, learn where to find stuff, all you do is you would go down to settings here. If you're on PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 like I am, use your R2 to go along to the very end here, click X on there, and it will highlight that button there, make me admin. You would click X on that. I won't do it again now because I already have. And what that will do is, when you back out, you'll see it pop up on the top right of your screen. Back out to menu and you'll see it's a admin panel here. Click on that, then over on your left hand side, all you want to do is turn your cloak on, which is there, put your god, as it says there, which is god mode, which means you can't die. Maybe do your sprint cost, which is the middle one, so you don't get any sprint cost. And then just in this next bit, just here, turn off your hunger and your thirst. So if you don't want to be eating or drinking or anything like that, just untick those, and basically you don't have to worry about looking excuse me, at your bar at the top left to see for your health that you're going thirsty or you're going hungry or anything like that. So anyway, that's enough of that. So yeah, if you want to use it, you've literally just spawned in. First thing you want to do a punch, L2 do a kick, see straight away, kick, that is a journey step. Circle, that's another journey step, so that is your dodge. Triangle, if you're on console, is to crouch like this. As I say, circle does that, X to jump, R2 you would punch, or that's to use a weapon if you have a weapon, L2 to kick or to aim once you've got a weapon, R1 you can do a heavy punch like that, pretty easy. Same with a weapon, you can do a heavy attack with a weapon. So that's another journey step. You hold L1, this is what you call your hotbar, just ignore that thing I've got in my inventory there. But yeah, this is your hotbar, so what you would do, when you press your big touchpad, this is your inventory screen. So this is your character in the centre. The 5 slots you can see are, so your headpiece, chest, hands, legs and feet. At the moment we've nothing in those because we're not wearing any armour because we haven't got anything yet. Left hand side is your inventory, so that's everything that you'd be carrying that you pick up. Right hand side are items that you can craft, but as you can see, if we look over on the right here, if I hover on that for example, fibre bedroll, it tells me I need twine, branches and plant fibre to be able to make one. Now we don't have any of that, so where do we get it? We get that as we start running down this little pathway now. So let's just run over here to this bush. Again, if you're on console, tap square and you'll see your character start to do this sort of motion. You'll see the bush is collapsed. Now if we check our inventory, we've got some plant fibre, got ourselves some seeds which we can use later to make some basic food called gruel, which yeah, it's not great for players but it's good for thralls once you get any thralls. Some insects, press square on that, you can actually eat those, that's another little step done, eat. While you're here, before you start off down this road, this big tablet here again, that's the area discovered, the broken house, press square on this.
Bonded one, the very boundaries of civilization. Beyond the passage of our highways, by the wild places of the world, where untamed savages make endless war upon each other. You cannot pass into the endless wastes enslaved. Your bonding prevents it. Return. Follow the road. Any road. All roads lead to the city.
Right, sorry about that, I just wanted you to hear that, that's part of your journey step again, so come back onto this road. And yeah, as you're running along, anything you see, so when you see these bushes like this, keep grabbing these. You just press square like I say if you're on controller, not sure for PC but controller. Even little stones like this, any little bits and pieces that you see, press square on it and you can collect them. So yeah, that is literally how you would start off. As I say, we're going to make our way up this pathway here and make our way to the river. Now on the right here, you'll see this rock next to this post. Grab that note.
Left to rot among the ruins of the past. There are others here, slaves, bandits and cannibals, exiles from lands I've never heard of. Some of them try to scrape a life from the wasteland, scrabbling in the rocks and sand for their own place. I cannot go on. The life that I left behind haunts me. The sun over the glittering spires, Belverus, has forever denied me. The smell of my daughter's hair. I will pass the ghost fence, and this cursed land will finally end me. To whoever reads this note, I leave the last of my water and this message. Stranger, you have my pity. You do not know how cursed you truly are.
So there you go, that'll speak to you, which is that little note that you picked up there. Now you can either keep hold of it or if you want to drop it, you can just drop it. And what it means is pick that water skin up there. Now what I would do is hover over it, press L1 to bring up your hotbar, select where you want it to be, let's just swap those over here. But again, now that's on your hotbar, hold L1, move your wheel up, release those and you have a drink of the water. Drink, that's the journey step done. So yeah, we'll carry on down here. And just as we do this little run, as I say, I'll literally run forward now. I won't talk through all this bit, I'll just jog down towards the river, and as we get near the river, we're going to do the next little bit of the journey, which is crafting our bedroll, making ourselves a hatchet for farming wood and a pick, and maybe even a sword to defend ourselves. We'll pick it up at that point, and we'll proceed from there. So yeah, I will catch you guys in a minute. Alright, so here we are at the edge of the river. We're not quite to the water yet, it's just down through those trees. This is where we start to have to watch out for different things now. But as you can see, I've just been gathering stuff up. Didn't manage to find a lot of branches really, which I'm surprised. I thought I would have found some. I'm just going to check around here. Oh, there we go. Looking in the wrong areas possibly. Another one there. How many does it say we need? It says we need... ah, there we go. So tap X on that. And as you can see, that's now creating a bedroll. Which in a second, once that is ready... yep, let's put it on our hotbar, that's perfect. When we get near the river now, we need to place that on the floor. Which will give us our spawn point for when we need to respawn if we die. Which is pretty useful. Now bear in mind, as I say, I'm using admin, which means that nothing will actually see me or kill me. But bear in mind, if you weren't using this, if you just ran down here, a lot of things are going to see you and are going to aggro, because obviously they'll know that you're there. But just keep running through. Try and get yourself through here. See how you can hear those fighting over there. Let's get over this hill. Yeah, those guys like him there. They're not hard to kill. You probably could kill them with a couple of punches, but if they spot you, they will attack you. Yeah, so there we go. There's the river. So if we, oops, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that normally because that might actually hurt you a little bit. But yes, here we are at the river. Good little spot. Yeah, what I would do is we need to head towards the sentinels, as I say, which if you remember on the map I'll show you, are just over here. So it's where that little campfire is there, that's what we're heading for. So what you'd want to try and do is get yourself down here. Be careful of that campfire there are 2 or 3 thralls on there, or NPCs, whatever you want to call them. Looks like they've been attacked by a crocodile at the minute. But yeah, if you went near those, they would attack you. So you want to ignore them. There we go, sentinels. And as soon as you get here, actually, you could even put your water skin on again. Drink from the river. Now, if you didn't find that skin on your way down, you can just run straight to the river and drink from the river, and it's not a problem. That will still get that journey step. Unfortunately, it has got to night time, but never mind. We can see where we're going. And this is the NPC that we need to speak to.
Another new one, eh?
Square on this guy, and he'll
Smell it on you.
chat away.
Veterans tend to smell just a little more like despair. I'm Arcos. Once a sailor, now a wanderer. You didn't think you were the only one, did you? You should go up north. There's whole cities of exiles up there.
So yeah, he'll chat away and you can keep pressing
Beginning, there were
talk
only a
and
few of us.
he'll tell you
But now it seems like fresh-faced fools are showing up every week.
who he is and where he's coming
Not all of them
from.
are as
And
friendly as I am, mind you.
now you can stay and listen to him
Watch
if you
your
want.
step. There's a lot of desperate people out there.
You can stay and keep talking to him if you want. That guy I think is a friendly one. Might not be, I can't also remember. I think they should be. Usually if they have the glowing eyes. I don't know if he's an aggressive one actually, which I don't know why it's over here if it is, because they're not usual, so just be wary of those big shaleback guys, because majority are friendly, but if you see one with the glowy eyes or a horn on the head, if they see you they will aggro and run at you and try and kill you. Now if, again I've got the Sandstorm turned off at the minute because it's admin panel, but if you got here and there is an event called a Sandstorm which starts to blow in, which you will see it with the wind, and your screen will start to go sort of a very sort of dusty red colour. If you haven't built a shelter yet, which you probably won't at this point, you can, if you're lucky, duck under this guy's little shelter here, and if you sit under here you can probably survive through it. Now you might lose a little bit of health, but this should actually come up as another journey step for you. It's not doing it for me for some reason, but it should come up and say find shelter. Might only do it as a sandstorm, but this will say find shelter, so that's another journey step done for you. So yeah, just while we're at this fire guys, just a quick one. If you're finding this video helpful and you like these sort of information videos and guide videos, if you want to call them that, please do give me a thumbs up. It really helps for it to get the YouTube algorithm going, gets more eyes on this video. Also, if you do find it useful, why not consider subscribing to the channel while you're there. Just means that you get to see the next one in the episode of this video, this guide. I'm by no means an absolute expert on this game. I don't know absolutely everything. I am still learning a lot myself, but I'll do my best to give my early game tips of what I would do from getting into this first part of the river. You don't want to venture too far up north early on. It's definitely not recommended at low level. This is sort of the best area to try and stay around. So yeah, just while we're at this fire, because we're sort of in a good little spot here and we can now see. So we've crafted our bedroll. Now it won't let us place it here because this is classed as an NPC camp. So if we just go over here, just a little bit, until it allows us to place it. So then position it like that, press up, excuse me, L1, and that says placed bed. So that is our spawn point now. So if we ran up the river, if I didn't have this mode on and I died, I would respawn and it would place me here, and then I'd have to run back to where my body was and try and get to that and pick up any loot that I had again if I wanted it back again. Always good, even at late game, to have some of these in your inventory if you're going off somewhere. Now as you get more towards max level, which I've actually done on an official server, you don't have god mode or anything like that, but you can get yourself decent thralls like a berserker for example, which is a fighter thrall that have quite high health. We won't go into that in this video because it's too much to discuss really what they are. That's for another video. This is purely more of an introduction one, this episode 1. So that was that. Now also with your plant fibre, if you see on your right hand list here, you've got shoes, so you click X on those. Hand wraps, click X on those. The trousers, click X on those. And then the top, click X on that. Now it says that we've got none left, but as you can see, we've now got hand wraps on and we've got some shoes. And if we just give it a few seconds, we now have trousers. And shortly, in another few seconds, we'll also have the top. Which these give you very minimal armour, as you can see there just above the character. It's not even really an armour set, but it's literally just like a clothing set really, so at least you've got something a bit more sort of decent to wear. Obviously if you die, again you drop everything, so you would literally be back as that you first spawned in at, so you'd have to grab all your loot again, which you do, and you just pop those back on again. Another thing you want to do as you get to where we were before, just as you get to the edges of the trees and you gather some branches, gather some stone, and you plant fibre and other bits and pieces, you want to try and make yourself a hatchet, which I can't obviously do yet because I've got enough branches, but a hatchet which you use for chopping down trees, a stone pick which you can hit a tree with to get bark and resin, but also that will give you another journey step as well, and your stone skinning knife, which your stone skinning knife, pretty self-explanatory really. If you manage to kill something, if you use the skinning knife on them, which we'll look at in the next episode, I'll show you how that works. You gain hide off the animals, which you use for crafting armour, plus you can get some meat from them, which you would put onto a campfire that you cook up. I don't want to make this episode too long, with this being the first one. Like I said, this is just a literal introduction to what we're going to be doing. We'll do it as a little journey, like a little story. We'll progress bit by bit, look at each individual thing and explain it to you, how I've seen it and what I've done when I've started in the game. So just a quick recap. We spawned in down here at Broken Highway. We've made our way up here, up to the edge. We've come down through these trees, we've come up to the Sentinels. We've spoken to the NPC at the Sentinels, which has given us another journey step. And we've just landed here. We've placed our bedroll, so we've now got a spawn point. So at least if we die, we would have somewhere to come back to. And what I would literally do, as you can see around here, you've got all this rock that you can farm, you've got all these trees. And you've got a few shalebacks wandering around. Now these guys are friendly, as you can see. Now this isn't just because I've got God mode on. These guys are actually friendlies anyway. Yes, he didn't look like he was going to aggro to them because I've got God mode on. But if I was to turn my cloak off, for example, go into admin, remove the cloak, and it'll still keep God mode on, but if I remove my cloak, just to show you guys that these guys are aggressive, like, if he was aggressive, I'm running near this guy, he would have attacked me by now. Now if I was to punch him or kick him, then yeah, he will start attacking me, because I'm classed as a threat then. But you can get loads and loads of branches around here. So you make yourself a pickaxe like that. I'd probably do that one first. Because again, another step, you've got a tool. Which now means if you come up to any of this rock that you find, whether it's big piece, small piece, hit it with R2. And it'll break it down like this, breaks it into stone. As it is obviously, which puts it into your inventory there. If you go to a tree, oops, hit the tree with a pick, gives you another journey step, get bark, which as you can see we've got a little bit of bark there. Now we don't get a lot, purely because obviously we're using stone tools and equipment at the moment, which isn't going to do a lot. But gradually we will upgrade ourselves and we will be using iron tools as the next step up, and that's pretty exciting once you get to that. But you start out, like I say, good little spot. If you put yourself a little bedroll just at the side of there, you know where it is on the water, so if you die you're not going to panic. You've got all this area here where you've got plenty of branches, you've got those shalebacks wandering around which aren't going to hurt you. If you just bear in mind here, if I go into first person so you can see a bit easier, just across there, as you can see, got that little campfire, which is where those 3 thralls were that were attacked by that crocodile. If you sort of avoid that area, but you've got all these trees around here, all these branches you can grab. Get yourself some stone, make your pick, make yourself a hatchet, get a skinning knife made. Get those crafting away. These guys will do their thing running around as they are. Now if you switch to the hatchet, go to a tree, takes about 5 or 6 hits, and as you see there now in my inventory, got some wood which you need to use to create your little campfire. It helps to make with the stone and wood to help build your foundation pieces, your wall pieces, your door frame, everything that you need for building a little house. Which is your little shelter. We'll do that in the next episode actually. We don't need to worry now too much because obviously I'm doing this in admin, so there isn't a sandstorm. Normally there would be. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to be gathering all your resources as I'm doing now, as quick as you could, and then start making yourself some sandstone foundations, some walls, door frame, make yourself a simple door, the roof that you can put on. So you gather all your resources like that, maybe even try and make yourself a weapon, which now there's no weapon or building materials showing at that point just there. But if we also look on your menu as well here, you see something there called rough wraps. If you gather some plant fibre again, just quickly do this just before we go. You can see there, gather some plant fibre. If you get injured, or pre-make some of those, have them made up ready. They are called rough wraps, so if you were to get injured, stick them on your hotbar, use one of those, and what your character will do is they'll obviously wrap themselves with one of those on one of their arms, which essentially gives you a heal. That's your sort of first basic heal option that you can get. To get your building pieces on, you want to press your big touchpad, so it brings you back to your inventory menu. Then you want to press R2. These are your skills. Now as you can see it's showing there I've got 390. You will not have all those points instantly. I've just looked to max myself to the maximum level 60 just so that I can show you everything. You'll get so many points per level up, and at first I would say while you're just starting out, because you're trying to keep yourself alive, you're trying to farm your little resources just in this little area to build yourself a little hut, I would start putting your points in this one here, which is encumbrance, to at least up to the first marker as you level up. But or you could do it between, put your first few points in there, next time you level up put them in there, keep going, keep going between those two, because if you get to this first point in this one, it means if you ate some raw meat it won't necessarily harm you as much as eating it without any perks in there. This builds up your encumbrance, so it just means that you can carry a bit more gradually. These others you don't really need to start worrying about straight away. So yeah, I would do that. So if you also wanted to do building pieces, you would have got R2 to that, R2 again, and as we can see there, our very first tab, we click X on that. We've now got our knowledge points that we've just spent, so we can now craft, as you can see on the right hand side there, Sandstorm foundations, walls, ceilings, door frame. Come on to that menu, and as you can see they're now there on the right hand side. So you would look for whichever one you want to make. You've got Flot Sam or Float Sam, however you want to pronounce it, which is basically like a sandstone, but it uses a bit less wood and a bit less stone to create the building pieces. What you could do here, we've got sandstone foundation. Now at the bottom there it says I can make one. So if I craft that, as you can see that's now done. And it's placed it on my hot wheel, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to build a little hut just on the beach here, just so that we know where we are. So I'm going to place that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go around, get some more resources now, make some more, and make this into a 3 this way, 3 there, and I'll put some walls and a couple of windows, a door frame, a door in, and then a roof on it, just so you guys can see what you do. But I won't do this now while we're on. What I'll do is I'll put some music in the background and leave it as some gameplay for you guys to see. And in the next episode you'll see that house complete, and we'll recap where we're up to. And we'll start the next bit of our journey, which is getting our resources gathered, getting a campfire made up, and get our little hut all set up before we start looking at what we can make next. So yeah, once again guys, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this video helpful. Give me a big thumbs up if you did. Really helps me out. Why not consider subscribing to the channel so that you get to see more content like this in the future. If you have any comments, please let me know down below. Anything you'd like to know, or anything else you think I should do, or if there's something you think I've missed, or anything you want to know, let me know down below. And in the next video we'll also go through the settings so you can see what your different settings are that you can choose for your game, not just your controls but your display. We'll talk about the admin panel a bit more, how that works, and we'll continue our story in episode 2. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. I will leave it right there on this beautiful afternoon here on the river in the Exile Lands. So for now, until episode 2 guys, here's that gameplay, and see you all next time. Bye for now.